Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Entitlement at its worst destroys brain cells quicker than alcohol or drugs, and dash cams are great after the fact, after the wild accusations, more right after our short story. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Entitled man demands my family pay for his yard. So, my brother owns a small red Ford truck my parents gifted him to get to work. My family also has an open field that has a few beehives around. The field gets extremely muddy whenever it rains, so we don't usually drive through it. My brother was visiting our parents and decided to get the mail for us before he parked. Our mailbox is at the opposite end of the field to our house. As he was driving, he got stuck in the mud. There's me, OP, entitled person, EP, my dad, and my brother. Dad was trying to figure out if we should call a tow truck or not. Soon after, brother had the idea of shoveling some gravel from the driveway into the field. Dad and brother went to get the wheelbarrow to move the gravel. I waited for them next to the truck listening to my music when entitled person showed up at the opposite end of my field in his white Chevy SUV. He came to me first because I was next to the truck. Note, I was 17 and looked like I was legal driving age. He shouted in a thick Southern American accent, "You're the a-hole that ran over my mailbox and ruined my lawn." I replied in an annoyed voice, "Look, I'm 17 and don't own the truck. Talk to brother, he's the one who owns it." He then walked over to dad and brother, shouting at them to pay for damages. EP then stated, "I'll call the police and have you arrested, because I know you did it." Dad then says to go right ahead because we didn't do it. EP then drove off saying they would sue. I knew if they sued, we would win because my brother has a dash cam that's very hard to see from outside the truck. Update. It's been about a month ago and he's not sued us yet. When outside working today, I saw him and his two kids fixing up his yard. The yard did look pretty bad. The ground had dirt, had been broken up all over it, his big fountain was smashed, and tire marks were all over the yard. My family watched the dash cam over again, and my brother was not involved. And our second story. Why get a deal when you can pay full price? A few years ago, I worked in a small pizza bar, mostly bar, but with a tiny kitchen serving pizza, Phillies, and some other sandwiches and fried apps. There were no servers, food runners, bussers, hosts, hostesses, and most times no manager. The shifts usually included just one bartender and two of us kitchen guys running the entire show, and it was always a crap show because the place is very popular. About 70% of Yelp reviews included some variant of the word understaffed. Patience was very scarce up front in the kitchen. Because as cooks, we had to take orders, run the register, answer the phone to take pickup orders, run the fax machine for those god-awful third-party delivery companies, looking at you, Grubhub, run the food out to tables, bus the tables, run dishes from the front kitchen through the entire hallway of a bar to the prep kitchen in the back, and run from the walk-in in the back up to the front to restock the line, all while keeping track of food cooking on the grill, in the fryer, and in the ovens, and assembling said food. So yes, it was a nightmare of an operation, and even if we had more hands on deck, we wouldn't have had enough space on the deck for those hands. We had a few deals set up to save the customer money on their orders, and one was the ultimate. It was a pizza with 6 toppings of any kind, and it was priced based on the size of the pizza, whereas normally different toppings were priced differently according to the type of topping and the size of the pizza. I.e., sausage would be $2 on an 18-inch pie or $3 on a 24-inch pie, but onions would be $1 on an 18-inch or $1.50 on a 24-inch. You get it. Basically, the ultimate came with 6 toppings, all priced as if they were the cheapest possible topping. While dealing with the crazy crapstorm of customers waiting in line to order, phones ringing, and food almost burning behind me on the grill, there was very little time available, read none, to get into an actual conversation or debate with the customer. However, fairly regularly, I would answer a call for a pickup order, the customer wouldn't know what they wanted, would ask me to list the 30-plus toppings available, and then piece together their perfect pizza over several minutes. Many times they wanted a pizza with 6 toppings, so I'd ring it up as an ultimate to save them several dollars. This took extra time as I would have to void the original entry in the register, put it in as an ultimate instead, and then key in each topping a second time. Almost every single time I did this, after reading back the order to them, they would just complain that they didn't want the ultimate, they just wanted a pizza with 6 toppings. I would explain that it was the same thing, but I put it in as an ultimate because it was just a much cheaper way to get the exact same result. A remarkably small portion of these customers thanked me for saving them anywhere between $8 and $15, while the vast majority demanded that I change it because they didn't want to pay for an ultimate. I went ahead and changed it back, gave them their new, much higher total, and was always met with a timid, okay, as the gears finally started turning in their brains. Many of these people came in, paid the higher price, and then left a decent tip. I'd assume because they realized how horribly stubborn and rude they'd been on the phone. PSA: when you're requesting something from an employee, that employee is the expert in what they do. Berating them over something you probably aren't understanding is a good way to ensure that they will no longer want to make things easier for you. And our next story. Clients keep saying I'm telling the wrong appointment times, so I'm going to make sure they hear correctly. So I recently started working at a new vet hospital as a receptionist, and every day part of my job is to make appointment reminder calls for the appointments the next day. Occasionally people will actually pick up, but most of the time I end up having to leave a voicemail. I basically have a transcript memorized because I say it the same way every time. Hi, this is OP from Name of Vet Hospital. I'm calling to remind you, Name of Pet has an appointment at appointment time tomorrow. Please don't feed any food before an appointment if you plan to have blood work done. Call us back at clinic number if you have any questions. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow at appointment time again. When people don't answer the phone, I leave a note, left message on machine, and then my initials. Well, for the past few weeks, people have been missing their appointment times pretty frequently. It's the first week of school here, and people who thought they'd have time don't, and our schedules are changing like crazy with cancellations and calls. But instead of telling the truth or just admitting that they didn't know what time the appointment was and didn't listen to the voicemail, they tell the check-in desk that I must have told them the wrong time. So when I come into work today, I get chewed out. Apparently, a guy who had an appointment at 10:20 showed up at 11:20 telling them that I told him the wrong time. I made a note on the appointment that said I left him a message, which I would only do if I left a message. I know it's revolutionary thinking here, and he tried to say I spoke to him over the phone and told him a time, which is obviously bullcrap. So my boss suggests that I state the appointment time twice in the messages, which I pointed out I already do. Then she says, well, maybe you should slow down. Okay, fine. So today when I did my calls, I made sure to record myself on every single call. Considering the state I live in is a single-party consent state, meaning only one person being recorded needs to have consent to record, that person being me, stating the exact message I typed and about half speed. But this time, I make sure to state the appointment time twice each time I had originally said the appointment time. So now my voicemails are about 2 minutes long instead of the original 30-second message. The few people I've spoken with seemed irritated that they were on the phone so long, but they know their GD appointment time now. Or else they better. Or I'd be happy to show my boss the recordings the next time someone tries to blame me for giving the wrong appointment time. I'll never understand what's so hard about, yeah, dude, I messed up. That crap happens. It's not a big deal. And our last story. Dealership sold my vehicle without my permission. We own a 2016 Town & Country fully loaded with 100,000 kilometers and a 2010 Dodge Journey with about 130,000 kilometers. We brought them both to a local dealership in hopes to trade in for a downgrade on the van and upgrade on our Journey. They offered us $24,000, van $20K and Escape $4K, for both to be used to shop for 2 used vehicles, adding up to equal value. We found a 2015 Ford Escape. They showed us priced at $15K. We gave them the van to hold on to as we took the Escape until they found us a car. At this point, 0 signatures were passed, and it was handed to us with dealer plates and told when we found a car we can start paperwork. About a month goes by with probably about 6 words in exchange of text from the dealership trying to find us a car. Until they tell us to come in, they have new plates for us, which did not make sense, but we went in anyways. When we got there, the salesman handed us the ownership and plates for the car we were driving, then told us we would only have about $4K to pick out a car. which I immediately was confused as the same salesman said if we picked out a 2015 Escape, we would have $8 to $9K for a car. So I argued and asked where we lost $4 to $5K. He brought me in and showed me paperwork that he made up, and he lowered the trade-in value of our van to $18K and increased the price on the Escape to $18K. So I told him, no way we're going to sign that, and laughed at him and said, I'll take my van back, thanks. He then said he did repairs to it. The vehicle was in immaculate condition. There was a scrape on our door handles, and it needed brake pads for the front brakes, as we did the rears 2 months prior. So I said I'd pay for it if he shows me the receipts. He then said they actually sold it, which made zero sense as I still have ownership and have not signed a single piece of paper or so much have seen paperwork until this point. So I walked out basically saying nothing to them, called the police to report my vehicle stolen. They say they can't do anything as it's a civil matter, but now I legally own both vehicles, but with no bill of sale on the new vehicle. So I immediately sought the help of a lawyer who specializes in automotive law. Together, we gathered all the evidence needed to file a lawsuit against the dealership, accusing them of unfair business practices and violations of consumer protection laws. Throughout the trial, my lawyer skillfully presented our case, meticulously highlighting the dealership's false promises and manipulated paperwork. As the proceedings unfolded, it became evident that the dealership's legal team realized the potential damage to their reputation. In an attempt to avoid a public legal battle, the dealership's lawyers approached me and my lawyer with a settlement offer. We carefully reviewed the terms and agreed to the settlement, ensuring that I would receive compensation for the trade-in value discrepancy and any additional damages caused by the dealership's actions. This settlement not only provided me with fair compensation, but also held the dealership accountable for their deceptive practices. It served as a powerful reminder to them that their actions have consequences and that they must treat customers with honesty and integrity. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.